This week in our collective heads, wanna put an old rumor to bed. Stereotype that you've all heard, how we're all just angry video game nerds. Most of us have actual jobs, kids and families and cats and dogs, yeah. This week in our collective heads, this week in our collective heads.
Welcome to TWIOCH!
This week in our collective head, super spooky episode, which is probably much less effective if you just listen to the audio. Just watch the first couple of seconds of our video.
Spooky.
Yeah, Halloween. We're excited about it. It's our favorite holiday, and we
Yes,
had a
it is.
big party last night, and that's why I look like I'm in My Chemical Romance. And yeah, pictures later.
That's exactly what I thought. Oh yeah, I'll put up a lot of pictures. Yeah. Welcome to This Week in Our Collective Heads. I'm Patrick.
I'm Kevin.
And we're here, as we are every single week, giving you the gaming news that you so crave and you can't get anywhere else because no one else on the internet tells you about video games.
It's true.
You got it here. So, to start off, we talk about a lot of games with gold and PlayStation Plus.
Yes.
This week, we actually have both to run through all at the same time for your pleasure.
Yeah. So we have on Xbox One for Murdered Soul or Super Dungeon Bros for the first half of the month.
Yeah, it's a weird kind of split that they do on that.
I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
I don't actually know anything about this one.
I don't know a lot about either one of these. Let me bring these up. So here are the free games in November. I grabbed the trailer for you because I'm lazy. So this is the little bit of everything apparently. There's Murdered Soul Suspect. That's Monkey Island.
Yeah.
That was
There's
the
Blood Dragon. Okay.
Blood Dragon.
Okay. Far Cry Blood Dragon. Highly recommended. It's a really good series, and then the comedy. This is basically the comedy version of it.
And this is the Dungeon Bros.
It's pretty wonderful.
A lot like Castle Crashers. The co-op isometric fun stuff. It looks like a blast, and I can't wait to play it. Murdered Soul Suspect. A few of my friends have played this. I didn't get a chance to play it yet, but I do love some horror. I do love some psychological stuff. Strange it came out this month and not on for October, because it seems like it'd fit for there.
Yeah.
Monkey Island is one of my favorite games. I know they're not really up your alley.
Yeah.
The ridiculous puzzles that no one should ever be able to figure out.
Is this the one that has the goat butting thing?
I think that's the second one.
Okay.
I get them confused. I played through all of these all in one sitting, or not one sitting, but all in like a month. This is Far Cry Blood Dragon right there. Far Cry Blood Dragon is everything you love about the 80s, action movies, over the top, and what they thought the future would be.
Yeah.
And the corniness is just miraculous.
Yeah,
so,
it's pretty wonderful.
Yeah.
And then over on PS4 we have, well, for the PS4 we have Everybody's Gone to the Rapture.
Yes, which you played a little bit of.
Yeah, I bought it because I like the idea.
Sure.
And I like supporting indie developers. But I just never reached the point where I was.
Yeah, there we go.
Like it never quite grabbed me.
Yeah.
But we do have some fans of the show that Owen in particular is really excited about this one.
I think some people, maybe it's the genre. Some people really don't like what they've been calling the walking simulators.
Yeah.
Personally, I don't think it's really much of a walking simulator. I think that it's very similar to Gone Home. From what I've seen of it.
Well, it's more mystery, and I like that. I just, maybe it just hit me at the wrong time. I will say though, the soundtrack is absolutely spectacular, and that's available on Spotify, so you can add those songs to your playlists and such.
To your spooky playlists.
And then Deadly Tower of Monsters is the other PS4 one, and PS4 one,
which I have not played, but this is it, and. So this
does not look great.
It doesn't look great. It looks like a 360 game, and like early 360 game. I'm sure this is an indie developer, and I apologize for trashing it right off the bat. This reminds me of the Z Heroes game that I played quite a while ago.
I can see that.
Part of the art style and everything, but okay, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so this game may surprise me.
Giant falling gorilla.
Yeah, this game may surprise
see.
me. I mean, it looks corny, and the 50s sci-fi kind of look to it. Yeah. And the giant monsters created by that doctor, more than likely.
Yep.
So yeah, that could be good. I hope.
So, and then on PS3 we have Dirt 3, which we already reviewed for something, maybe 360.
I've
the Dirt
reviewed
series.
this on these all run together. This was on this was on Xbox 360 before. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of the dirt games. I'm tired of the racing games.
Well, like especially racing games that don't really do anything special. Because like last week we had the Mad Riders or Rad Riders or whatever that one was called. That one was cool because it was like this super quick. It did something different. The dirt games are mostly not.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just a driving thing.
Yeah.
And
it's you have. I think the biggest problem is you have 4 or 5 different companies all trying to be the racing game company, and it just sucks. I mean, that would be like if every single franchise within the NFL came out with their own version of a football game on Xbox.
Yeah,
it'd be maddening.
Yeah.
We did get
so we don't have high hopes for that one.
No, we don't. We're getting Costume Quest 2, which we got this on Xbox a while ago.
But you reviewed it, so I'm going to go ahead and check it out this time.
Yeah, so you get to check this out. I think you'll enjoy it. It's if you like the South Park game, you'll enjoy this. It's like almost like a kid version of that because it's zany, but the collection of costumes and the timed battle system on it are pretty fun. Fun. We also get Letter Quest, which I know nothing about.
And this one is on Vita, PS3, PS4. I think it's on everything.
Okay. I miss those days.
Yeah. Good. Those were good times.
It looks. I mean, you spell. This is really cool. I mean, I'm not a small child, but this is. I played a lot of games like this back in the day.
Yeah.
Like the Mavis Beacon Typing and Math Blaster, and there were games that rewarded you with a really cool game if you knew how to spell or if you did math.
Right.
So really cool. That's cool stuff. Excuse you.
Yeah, I'm gonna check it out with the girls. See if they
Great
can do it,
idea.
because like they have a basic grasp of the alphabet, and this sounds the most of them make. But then it'll be like, what letter does Queen start with? K.
That's close.
That makes sense, but no.
Yeah.
And then C. Also not quite. Yeah. But
the English language is hard.
It's really difficult.
It is confusing.
Have you seen that the post about what order we put descriptive adjectives in? That every native speaker knows.
Yes.
That like there's no logic to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird because
it makes perfect sense though, because if you mix up the order of the adjectives, then it just sounds
right. But what would it
clunky.
change?
I don't know, but
that's the thing.
It makes sense to all native English speakers, but you mix it up and it sounds clunky. It's not even wrong. It's just your brain. It's hard for your brain to visualize what you're describing.
Yep.
So.
Yeah. And then the last one is Pumped BMX Plus.
Yes, which
you will ride a bike, and it kind of looks like a poor man's Trials.
Yes, and I'm completely fine with that because this looks fun. You can also spin your bike around.
Yeah.
It seems like this. It's like Tony Hawk meets Trials meets Excite Bike almost. I mean, I love it.
It's also very similar to. One of the other ones we got a while back was the Ollie Ollie 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was a lot of fun. I had some good times with that. So I think this one will be fun.
Yeah, that game looks like a blast. That game looks like is what I expect for these titles. I when I get AAA titles, it's great. When I get something like this, it's pure, it's simple, straightforward.
Yeah, and it's something that I might not have experienced otherwise, and I like that idea.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
Yeah. So moving on to. Well, actually, Lord Scalawag has been very patient.
Yeah.
We told him we'd answer his message that he sent us a little while back. He said that he really enjoyed like the Rock Band and Guitar Hero games back in the day, and that he was wanting to get a system just for that, and asked us which system we thought he should get.
For the Rock Band games?
No, for the Guitar Hero one.
Guitar Hero.
Which is the new Guitar Hero Live one with the new controller and stuff.
Yeah.
So
Okay, so it's on both systems.
Right.
So I'll say what I say with when usually people ask me questions like this, because I have the Xbox One S and I have the PS4. If you want a console that is dedicated to gaming and it's amazing at gaming and it's good at media as well, then PS4 is totally the pick. If you are more about the media and you want to play an occasional game, but you want something that's just amazingly easy for like a universal remotes, when it comes to streaming, streaming off your PC and throwing it onto your Xbox, it's the Xbox.
Yeah.
If you have to choose, you kind of have to think about it that way. As much as they both are good at media, the Xbox excels at being a media center.
And it was kind of designed from the ground up to be that.
Yeah, it wanted to replace every box in your home. I mean, that's why they have the DVR functionality. That's why they have the Xbox One guide, so it integrates with your cable box.
Yeah.
They want to replace basically everything. You can even, if you have Verizon and a couple other providers, you can actually download their app on your Xbox and not use a cable box.
Yep.
So they want to be that all-encompassing provider. Now, the PS4 is great at, you use it for Hulu or use it for, what, Netflix? You use Chromecast a lot, don't you?
I use Chromecast.
Yeah.
But if you're just wanting to get the system for a single game, you can actually use the PS3 controllers for, like, if you got Rock Band there's not a Guitar Hero backwards thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So if you wanted to end up with Rock Band at some point, then you could use PS3 controllers. If you do it on Xbox, you have to get the $40 dongle to make that work.
Correct.
So
for the older, we're talking about the older Rock Band and older Xbox, Rock Band Guitar Hero games at that point.
Right.
If you're talking about the newer ones, obviously they split and they have a different peripheral now.
Right. So I would probably go ahead and go with the PlayStation because of the fact that you can get Rock Band and like any DLC that you bought previously. If you have a collection of songs,
it's all linked.
Then you can kind of throw those on there. But yeah, I would go ahead and get the PlayStation just because it works better. It just works better if you wanted to do the Rock Band thing.
Yeah.
And if you're just doing the one game, cool. And they're the same price now.
Yeah,
so
they're at the
unless
same
you're gonna
price. You can get the Slim, the PS4 Slim. The PS4 Pro is coming out, but if you're just wanting it for that one game, then you can grab a Slim for that. And the media is great on the PS4. Don't get me wrong. The only thing that I dislike about it is having to use my PlayStation controller to manipulate and go through different apps. The Xbox One uses infrared, so you can actually go through with a universal remote or whatever and select whatever you want. It's a lot easier if you just want to sit on your couch and be casual about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you already have a Chromecast or something that takes up that,
and basically he just said he's just looking for one games. For one game. So
I was just making sure that he thought about the media aspect of it. We actually got some viewer mail over here. So Snake Magnus, is that Jake Snake?
That's Jake.
That's what I thought. Hey Jake, mentioned Xbox feels weakest. Sorry. Xbox, I feel.
Sit down, I'll talk.
Oh.
Xbox, I feel, is on the weakest end when it comes to games, yet in terms of console being a media center, PlayStation is working that direction too.
Yeah.
And it's kind of it's just the different focus.
Yeah.
When they first started, PlayStation was games.
We are the games, here's the games, you like games, we like games, let's games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Xbox One was designed during the Matic era, and they wanted to make sure that this was this big universal system and make sure that. So it was designed with that in mind, so it necessarily works better.
Exactly.
So yeah, there you go, Duncan.
Thank you, guys.
So we have a couple of backwards compatible games. We have Rage, which do you know Rage?
As per usual on the show, if we don't know the game, we like to make it up as we go. So I don't know Rage.
Okay.
Do you know Rage?
Yeah, a little bit. Okay, Rage is kind of a Mad Max type environment thing where You go around open world and you're first person shooter. It's pretty good. It's not spectacular.
Okay, so never mind. So now we will go on.
But Killer is Dead you can make up.
Killer is Dead. Okay, so as per tradition, as I mentioned before, when we do not know about a game, we like to tell you about it and make it up on the spot. And Killer is Dead is an interesting one. So this is
it a prequel to Murdered Soul Suspect?
It actually is.
Okay.
But
all right.
But you take so in Killer is Dead, you play the victim of a crime.
Okay.
As a ghost.
All right.
And you are solving the murder of your killer.
All right.
And in doing so, if you solve the murder, it releases his spirit, who then you have to battle through the 7 layers of hell. It's very like Dante's Inferno when it comes to that part.
So educational as well.
Yeah, it is. It is. I mean, it goes through. You know, you talk about the Crusades and the early church views of hell are in there. So it's pretty interesting. But the first half of the game is kind of, it's not quite point and click. It's almost like the Arkham games where you have to investigate and actually figure out the murder.
Right.
And then when you go through the 7 layers of hell, they kept that mechanic, and you actually investigate other people's murders as well, and that helps you figure out where your killer has gone, because he's horrible, so obviously he went through every layer of hell.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. And then Shred Nebula is a game where you start as a microscopic organism, and you devour the things around you to grow, to get bigger.
Okay.
And you absorb their powers. And your objective is to become a Shred Nebula, which tears through the universe and just absorbs and chops up.
So like Spore meets Katamari Damacy.
Actually, I just described Mutant Blob's Attack by Drinkbox, which is an excellent game, and I recommend it. Except you don't get to be a shredding nebula; you only get to eat planets.
Close enough.
Yeah,
close enough. Sorry, Jake was just saying Murdered Soul Suspect was an amazing game. I can't wait to play it for for our Games with Gold stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, on to some more stuff. GameStop. GameStop has been trying to get into the retro gaming, consoles and everything.
Yeah.
Which is funny because they were in it, and then they got out hardcore.
Yeah.
And now they're and then they tested the waters with internet. With saying we'll take it in the store and then we'll sell it to you on the internet, but we won't have it in our store.
Yeah.
So they're going.
GameStop is trying really hard to adjust, and I applaud them for that. I don't know how well it's going to work, but like the amount that they will pay you for like retro games that are worth having. It's not going to be enough. You're better off selling it somewhere else. To be honest.
Unfortunately, that's completely true. You'd be better to sell it on eBay. I mean, a game that's worth it.
Right.
You'd be better bet to sell it on eBay, Amazon, wherever. If you're trying to sell like an original Zelda or anything like that.
First, don't do that.
Don't. You just keep
but secondly, if you're going to, this is
it's kind of it's kind of wrong. So they're.
But I do like the idea of being able to go into a GameStop, because the girls and I go into GameStop pretty regularly, and we'll check out the new games, and they'll be like, "Oh, Dad, you have half of the games on this shelf," and I'm like, "Yes, I do." But then we go back to the back and we check out like the statues and the collectibles and stuff like that. And we talk about which ones we would like, and I'm like, yeah, that's $150. We're not getting it, but we can look at it and choose which one we would want. But yeah, like they're expanding into different areas, and I like the idea of going in and being able to just have this, while I have their attention there, we can talk about, this game is about this. Would you like to play that? And then we'll see if we can figure out a way to make that happen.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll see how this goes and how much space they dedicate to it.
That's what I'm curious about, because right now, if you go into a GameStop, it's almost all the new stuff. They got into the mobile and tablet market a bit. That used to take up, a larger part of some of the stores, at least some of the stores that I've been that I go to. So I'm hopeful that that they'll have enough space for it. But at the same time, every time I go into an older like Game Exchange or someplace of that fashion, there's a lot catalog there, and then those guys are happy to pick it out and play it for you, which I think is necessary when it comes to cartridges. I want to play it.
Yeah.
if I can.
There's in Stonebriar Mall here in Dallas. There's a place called Console Game Exchange. I love that place. That
Are they
is
still open? Because I'm thinking of the one in Collin Creek. Go ahead.
Okay. But yeah, it was. I worked there for a little bit until I got into a coma.
Things.
Yeah.
Comas.
But yeah, like it's a really fun place, and my favorite was they had like right up front. It was this giant case.
Yeah.
And it was just NES cartridges out facing, alphabetically ordered, and it made my little OCD brain so happy to see, first off, all those cartridges, and second, properly organized.
Yeah.
And I had no problem making sure that all of that was going down. So PlayStation is actually moving into a little bit of retro gaming themselves. They've been bringing out like the arcade archives and such. Like you can play Contra now on your PlayStation 4, which is all right. The important thing is the code still works.
The code still works.
It can be beaten.
It's just surprising.
Yeah. But this, I guess, Friday, Tuesday, last week, I don't know, at some point, the King of Fighters 94 came out, and other Neo Geo classics are supposed to come. I know they're bringing out Samurai Showdown, Metal Slug, and I feel like there was one other one. It was like a fighting one, something world.
I don't know that one.
Anyway,
I can't wait for Samurai Showdown.
Yeah, Samurai Showdown is so awesome.
Samurai Showdown's one of those games that if you don't know it, if someone starts playing it, you know it. At least if you're around our age, you definitely know this game. In addition to the more PlayStation news, PlayStation is getting all the Kingdom Hearts remixes, which I'm happy about because the remixes came out to PlayStation 3
well after the PS4 was out.
Yes,
like that was like a year or two in, and I was like, I mean, we talked about it some on this show, and we were like, but why?
Yeah,
why are you doing this?
Yeah, there's.
Yeah, but I'm excited because this is the. I think it's like 6 games.
Yeah.
So
you
it's
have Dream Drop Distance,
Birth by Sleep, and the weird
362.7 over 5 something. Yeah.
Yeah.
All the you have the weird games, and you have 1 and 2 as well. Which every time I've got a Google alerts for this. Yes, I do. For Kingdom Hearts.
Nice.
And whenever I see it, I get excited because I'm hoping that I'll get something about Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yep.
But I think. I really love that this is coming over to PS4 remastered. You'll get to play these games. If you haven't played the games already, you get to kind of jump in and let's say you have a PS3 but you didn't have the Nintendo DS, 3DS and Vita.
Yep.
So
I'm getting this. And I'm going to play it with the girls.
Good.
Like, I think they'll be able to go through this entire series and really enjoy it. Like, and I think I can get Courtney on board with it.
Yeah.
I will be interested to see. Excuse me. I'll be interested to see how they do like the dual screen bit. How that's going to work.
Yeah.
So.
I feel like they're gonna have to do a picture-in-picture, kind of like they just showed. I almost want to say that may have been a way to prep people for that being part of it.
Yeah.
Because some of the games were made for DS or 3DS, like Chain of Memories, which Jake, thank you for bringing that one up. For those, you can't just take the game and just put it on a screen.
Yeah.
You dealt with dual screens at that point, and the resolutions, and the aspect ratios were basically the same as your TV. So unless you're completely remaking the game from scratch, you have to have both screens on there. So I'm curious. We'll see how they go with that.
But I'm really excited about this, and also Amanda is. Like she's been an Xbox, like she got an Xbox like as a present or something, like when they first came out, and she's like, okay, cool.
Yeah, I think her mom got it for her.
Yeah, and then she would be like, oh, Kingdom Hearts is coming out on PlayStation 3. like, I guess I don't need a PS4, but she heard about this and she was like, well, I know what I'm asking for Christmas.
Yep. Yeah.
I'm getting me a PlayStation. and that's the thing, is like, this is a really, it's a seminal title that is really important to a lot of people, and I'm glad that Square Enix is finally putting it on there.
Yeah, and I mean, Final Fantasy is going to both consoles, so they're fine on that now. And if my memory serves me correct, the last time that I heard about Kingdom Hearts 3, which was, a year and a half ago, I believe they said that they were planning on putting it on Xbox One and PS4. Don't quote me on that, because it has been probably about a year and a half, but I believe they said that.
I hope so.
I'm pretty sure they said that, and because I remember talking to Amanda and a few other people who were saying, I don't need a PS4 now, or I don't need whichever one if it comes on both, which is great. It's also as much as I like the exclusivity, I would prefer these games be in the hands of anyone who wants to play them.
Exactly.
And sometimes a price barrier of buying 2 or 3 consoles, that's not easy.
Yep.
That's not easy.
I did tell Courtney that come March I'm gonna need like $350.
Yep.
What's your prediction on the price point?
Okay.
Of the Nintendo Switch?
I haven't gotten to talk about the Switch.
Oh, that's true. Okay,
let's talk about the Switch. Let's we're gonna jump ahead a little bit.
Yeah, we can do that. We also did get a little bit of news that wasn't in the original trailer.
Yeah,
they've told us that we're getting no more news. No news for you.
No news. And then stuff.
And then they gave us a little bit of news.
Yeah, and then some stuff leaked. So, Nintendo Switch. I was out, so I didn't get to talk about this. But Nintendo Switch obviously announced. And if you haven't seen it, if you haven't been watching our show, if you haven't been on the internet, then you don't know about this. But because now this is the time. Every couple of years or so, that all my people who don't know about video games come out of the woodwork and say, "Hey, did you hear about this?" Yes, I did. Yes, I did. So
the Twitter flurry that morning with the Nintendo Switch and Red Dead Redemption 2 stuff was wonderful, and we were all happy together for a little while. And it was also really wonderful because it was the night after the third debate.
Yes.
And so like the internet was super angry the night before, and then we all just joined hands and sang, and it was wonderful.
I was so happy. I love that they said, you're going to get some news about this, and it was, I want to say 3 o'clock in the afternoon or 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah.
They tweeted out, "Hey, tomorrow at 9, this is happening."
Yeah.
7 a.m. Pacific, 9 a.m. Central. So to answer your question, price point.
Yes.
I believe that they believe they're going to be the multiple SKUs like they did last time. And I had a different opinion on this. What would be the
different SKUs?
I had a different opinion on this until recently. So first of all, we do know now. My opinion changed because of the new information, which happens if if you're an intelligent person, you get new information, your opinion should change. I previously thought it were probably $350 or $399.
Okay,
but it has has a micro SD card with up to 128 gig.
Okay.
So, if you can add a micro SD card, I don't believe they're going to go for that much onboard memory.
All right.
I believe that we're looking at, because it's Nintendo, you're looking at like, the Wii U came out with what, 8 gig?
Yeah.
And then 50 gig. If you wanted the big one, right? So I think that
the big 50.
One, I think you're gonna end up with something around 20, maybe 50 if we're lucky, onboard memory.
Okay.
And they're going to push for saying, well, if you need more, SD cards.
Yeah. Which, thank goodness they're not proprietary, because...
Yeah. Which 3DS, it's the same thing with 3DS. 3DS was an SD card as well. So,
and hopefully we won't have to unscrew the thing and take it apart and feel like we're breaking it to upgrade
like the DS? Yeah.
Yeah, that is a...
The 3DS is just nice slotting.
Yeah,
so
but...
The DS is not. So, with all that new information, I believe $299 for the Nintendo Switch.
All right.
$299. The reason that I say that is that the Xbox One S, $299.
All right.
The PS4 Slim is $299.
All right.
And if they jump out with a new console and they say it's $399, and the only other consoles on the market that do $399 would be the PS4 Pro, which is 4K and all this ridiculous, gravy. So I say $299 for the intro SKU.
Okay.
$349 for the additional SKU, which will come with a game maybe a second game if the first one comes with the pack-in, right? I'd like them both to come with a package-in game, but I don't think they will. So you're 349.99.
Right.
You get the Nintendo Switch, the Pro controller,
Yes, then that's what I'll get.
and
I need
And
that
a
is
game.
the controller I want.
And a
Call me
game.
boring.
oh no,
But
I want that.
that.
I want that controller. So you're gonna get the Switch, the Pro controller, and a game
Okay.
for $349, which is
All right.
completely worth it.
Yeah.
So, all in all, my suggestion would be grab that SKU that doesn't technically exist at this point. Grab that one and get an SD card. I would say grab the 128 and get 128 gig
Yeah.
SD card. That way, you're not fiddling with multiple SD cards and trying to remember what's on what.
Yeah, that sounds like a bloody nightmare.
You don't want to do that. Jake was saying in here he thinks that $400 for is what he believes the Switch is going to be at. That's what I thought at first, because people are saying, "Oh, well, it's not as powerful as the PS4."
The other thing about it though is PlayStation and Microsoft are both willing to lose money on consoles. Nintendo doesn't lose money on consoles.
Correct, and they said that.
That's why I think 349 to 400.
Oh, you think 349, 400? Okay.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. I can't disagree with that, because they did say they don't like losing money on it, but then they
Right.
clarified in a recent news thing saying we're not losing money on this one.
Right.
So it's just an additional bit on that. So if it's that, I'll still buy it. The question is backwards compatibility, and everyone was asking about it. And this is where it comes in the news, additional news this week. So if you didn't know, the Switch it's basically a larger Vita with with the controllers,
detachable controllers,
and everyone's clamoring for it. But it only has a little tiny dock.
Yeah.
There's no DVD drive. Mm-hmm. So that means no backwards compatibility with the Wii U or the Wii, except for digital purchases that they're trying to tie in.
Right, and they talked about that, and they also said that the 3DS games won't be available for it because it is a single screen experience. But we also just talked about how Kingdom Hearts is doing something with it. So
I think that they said that because they want to put out the expectation of this is new, this is different.
Yeah.
We've been doing dual screens for 2 handheld generations, 3, because you have the DS, 3DS, new 3DS, right?
Right.
3 generations of handheld, 1 generation for the Wii U, which I thought did a great job of transitioning a lot of those games to saying handheld or console. I think this is their version of saying, you know what, this is a new era, so it's only 1 screen. But there will be certain games that come out. The developers will come out with their remasters, and their remasters will have a single screen. You can't tell me that you can't tell me, but games like New Leaf, Pokemon Sun Moon.
yeah.
Come on, we're gonna get a version of that. But we're also gonna get a Pokemon game on
The other fun thing about this is, and this is my favorite thing about the Switch, is that they're going to now have so many more studios working on their home console. I want to see a console Fire Emblem game.
I would love a Fire Emblem.
That sounds like that's my most exciting thing about that.
They did talk about a lot of the remasters, which Jake is talking to us in the comments about this. By the way, if you are up on Sunday mornings, drop by Twitch and watch us, because you can be part of the show just like Jake is right now.
Right.
He was talking about he was saying 400's a good price point, and he was hoping that Zelda or Splatoon would be a pack-in, which
Splatoon was in the commercial.
Exactly.
So
they're pushing to say, here's a new console, but you're going to have games like Mario Kart 8 was in there as well. Well, modified.
Okay.
Modified.
Which was exciting because the Double Dash.
That's Double Dash, yeah.
Yes, Double Dash is my favorite Mario Kart game.
Because you had multiple items. You could switch between the items.
It was so much fun. And I loved... We talk about playing inebriated on the show.
Yeah.
And you can be the passenger inebriated. Like, you can have the sober driver, which you don't drink and drive.
Yep.
unless it's in a video game, then it's okay. But you're probably not going to win.
Sure.
But you can sit back in the back and punch and use items, and it was a blast.
Yeah.
So I would like to see that again.
Speaking of that, I don't know if you've seen people do this online. Have you seen the drink and drive Mario Kart?
I have not.
So you play this with your friends if you're an adult and you're responsible and you have designated drivers. And each person, you're not playing against bots, by the way. So you play against your friends. So 3, 4, however many of you are there. You have a beer, and you also have to do the race. You cannot drink and drive at the same time.
Okay.
So you have to A, finish the race,
Right.
and B, finish your beer.
Okay.
Okay. So in order to drink the beer, you have to completely stop your car
Okay.
and drink your beer. So now you can drink a little bit here and a little bit there, however you want to do it, or you just down it.
You chug it right at the very beginning, so that you get the best items.
That's exactly.
Because if you're out in front, you get worse items. You can start off, get a couple blue shells, and catch up, and all that kind of stuff. So that's how you do it. So
that's our drinking and driving
drain
tips.
it right off the bat. So this has been kind of our further Switch analysis.
Yeah.
They said, okay, now we're going dark, and we'll talk about it in January.
Yeah, and
which is okay. Cool.
I'm completely fine with that, and the biggest reason that I'm fine with that is we are approaching the holiday season. Technically, it's right at or after Halloween, depending on how you're listening to this. And you're going into holiday season. You're going to Black Friday, and Nintendo does not want to keep putting out information about the Switch.
Yeah.
And not sell anything this Christmas.
They're not going to sell any. Nope.
So they're already in a horrible situation, and what they're going to sell is they're going to sell games that people didn't get yet. That they're going to go ahead and grab when they're on sale for Black Friday, Amazon the Cyber Monday.
I'm going to grab me a 2DS for $20.
Yeah. Because they're going to be dirt cheap.
They're already pretty cheap, and I appreciate that.
What, $70?
Yeah. It's like $70 for a console.
And it's a good console. It's clunky, but to have for 4-year-olds, 5-year-olds, whatever, then it's perfect for them.
Yeah.
It's not as handheld, but they've got backpacks and stuff. They're always with.
That'd be fine.
So
that'd be fine.
That'd be fine. You just have to lug that around.
No, they carry their own stuff.
So we got an update on some Overwatch rankings, by the way.
Yes. So season 3 is kicking off here in a little bit, and last season when they started season 2, they kind of put too many people in the elite tiers, and then people just were regularly getting bumped down.
Yeah.
And so what they've chosen to do this time, because that's disappointing, and it's depressing and it's frustrating, and they're like, I don't want to get bumped down.
I don't want to spend an hour no.
So what they're doing this time is they're starting a little bit lower, so they'll probably rank you, so you will probably drop in rank. But that gives you a chance to earn it back if you're good enough to earn it back, and if not, then you'll be playing with
more balanced games, which is fine. This is a struggle that a lot of online games deal with. I know I mention it all the time. Magic the Gathering deals with this when it comes to ranking systems. I mean, there's a reason that for these, in regards to ranking, in regards to how you advance. Chess even has this, if you've ever played professional chess.
Yep.
I don't know if you guys have played professional chess, but the ranking system is...
I lost $1 one time playing chess.
So the ranking system, it's very important that not only do you get ranked properly, but you don't get bumped up too quickly.
Yeah.
Because when you do that, you may have some lucky games, but you need to get bumped up adequately, so that way you're playing with the right people, and you don't have just this up and down craziness. You should have a little bit of advancement, a little bit down.
You don't want to. You want to be playing people who are comparable to your skill level. Just as it's not any fun to get annihilated by somebody who's way better than you, it's also not fun to just be clearly outmatching your opponent and
it's not challenging.
Just finishing them off.
It's not challenging at that point.
One of the things that Jake said earlier, he said that Square Enix needs to work with Nintendo to make a new Super Mario RPG. They say that the Paper Mario series is the continuation of that, but It is not near the quality of, and actually it's a really fun story if you go back and read the story about how Super Mario RPG came about, because this was shortly after Final Fantasy VI and Chrono Trigger. Those two teams merged, joined with Nintendo's teams, and that's where that game came from.
I didn't know.
So it's like all the best RPG people from the best RPG era, my opinion.
Oh, that's awesome.
Also fact. So yeah, that's something that I would absolutely be on board with.
Yeah, and I mean, we're already getting a new 3D Mario game, which, judging by the looks of it, is a continuation of the Mario 64.
Yeah,
3D.
Because like
Mario
3D World is fun.
Yeah.
I like the open world, explore the environment, and all the crazy things that you got to do in Mario 64. Like the wall jumping is fun, but it's more fun, and like the water levels are more fun. Like just
the water levels are fun. Come on, if you can make a water level fun, they really were.
Those are some of the best water levels to exist.
Yeah, and it also I really enjoyed in Mario Galaxy had a little bit of this, but I enjoyed the aspect of the different stars, and every level has multiple stars. You get a star for beating it.
Yeah.
You get another star for doing a thing on the side.
Which I would love to have that again.
Which is why I loved Metal Gear Solid. Their version of that. I mean, you're beating the level, but then you're going, okay, let me play it again just for this aspect of it. When you have levels that are that diverse, it's really amazing.
Yep.
Yeah. So we got a little letter from Bethesda.
Okay. Before we get on that, because I'm going to yell about that. Rebirth has been approved. Binding of Isaac Rebirth.
Correct.
Has been approved by Apple, and that will be coming out to your iOS device soon.
Yes.
Which, yay, that. Because that... Oh, God, I love this game.
Yeah.
And it's... I think it actually makes sense to be able to play that on a handheld device that is touchscreeny. Like, I think it works because you're basically kind of you're firing off in one direction and you're moving in another direction, but it's pretty basic movement, and I don't think it doesn't. I don't know. Now I'm kind of backpedaling on this because it does need to be precise. You need to be able to. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see how that goes. But if you have not played Binding of Isaac Rebirth, then this is another opportunity to get it. And I'm happy because I want Macmillan and Nicholas to succeed and make more money off of this thing. I might buy it just to try it out, and also to give them money, because I got so much enjoyment out of that free game that I played for 2 years and a little bit.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I don't think this is going to translate well unless you use a Bluetooth controller.
Right.
I don't think this is going to translate well, personally. These are not games that are forgiving in any way.
Nope.
Like Super Meat Boy and Binding of Isaac, they're not forgiving when it comes to controls. You either got it or you didn't, and you're dead now. So, so I'm glad that they're doing that. I hope that other people will get it, unless it's a different version of the game, which I don't think it is.
No.
The only reason that I mentioned that is because I didn't realize until maybe a couple months ago. There's a Five Nights at Freddy's on iPhone.
All right.
And it's not really the same.
No.
Because you can't do that on a, you could, but
this screen is much less scary.
Yeah.
So
it's still there, and my sister, as well as other people that I know, got it on their phone for maybe a 7 or 8 or 9 year old to play, and it's not. I love horror. Yeah. It's not that bad for them, but it's interesting to see parents try to say, no, they can't play this, and then they have no justification as to why, other than it's scary.
Yeah.
So if you're, this goes into a little thing. This is my parenting advice as a non-parent. If your kid is mature enough to handle a specific TV show or a specific subject matter.
Yeah.
If they truly understand the context and it's not bothering them or disturbing them,
Yeah.
then I think that's okay.
Well,
There's no gore in this.
Right.
There's no cursing. It's scary.
They don't know that those animatronic creatures are filled with bodies. They don't know that.
Yeah, they don't know that aspect of it. All they know is, and because I talked to my nephew about this a lot, and all he knows is Freddy's scary, and all these other guys are scary, and you don't want them to catch you. That's all he knows.
Right.
Everything else is subtle.
For them. It's basically a scary peekaboo game.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And if they can handle that, if they're not having nightmares, they're not having problems disassociating a stuffed animal versus then let them play Five Nights at Freddy's.
And the important thing, just to kind of piggyback on that, as an actual parent with actual parenting advice. I mean, you're right.
Yeah.
But the important thing that you kind of that you mentioned a little bit is communication.
Yeah.
Every situation is different. Every kid is different. Talk to them.
Yes.
Find out what works, what doesn't, what's scary, what isn't.
Yeah.
And let them know, because
how are they dealing with what they're seeing? If you just throw them in front of a TV, I mean, you're not talking to them about what they're watching.
Well, one of the things that I did is I don't let my kids. I try to research whatever they're watching, and they were watching Paw Patrol.
Okay.
And so I researched the characters on that, and one of the characters is a cop.
Okay.
And each of them has like their special device or special something.
They all
have their kind of gimmick.
Okay.
The cop has a drone, and I went, no, that's not okay. I don't want you to believe that cops are supposed to use drones against civilians in a general gathering manner. That's nope.
But they do.
They do. But
they shouldn't.
But part of the reason that this is allowed is because it becomes normalized.
Yes.
And if you convince a little kid that cops use drones, it's fine.
Yeah.
Then that's something that I'm not comfortable with. And so it's very difficult to explain that to a 5-year-old.
Yeah.
But if you do your best and don't over-explain. Another funny story about my kids, and I swear we'll get back to video games.
Yeah.
But apparently Courtney, they were talking about something, and Courtney, they're driving somewhere, and she mutters under her breath, "What do you think I am, a necromancer?" And Arya goes, "What's a necromancer?" Apparently, from my end, Courtney calls me and says, "Hey, I need to ask you a question real quick," and I'm like, "Okay, can I call you back?" She's like, "No, this needs to be answered right now. Arya, go ahead and ask Daddy." And Arya, go ahead. "Daddy, what's a necromancer?" And I'm like, okay, a necromancer is a person who uses magic to make zombies and bring skeletons to make pets and stuff. Sure. And there's kind of dead silence on the other end. And then I'm like, "Do you have any questions?" Then she goes, "There's On the Border." That was all she needed. I didn't have to go into this overly macabre explanation of how it works and the classes and pets and magic and all this kind of stuff.
Golems versus skeletons.
Right.
Versus
I just give them a simple explanation, and a lot of times you can just get away with that.
Yeah. Well, that and especially if you're dealing with a kid who's I know you're. How do I put this? Any kid over, say, 7 or 8 nowadays, they can Google.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
And depending on your privacy and your parental filters and your there are programs for that for your PC.
Yeah.
They're going to find out one way or another. I mean, you were a kid. You know what I'm talking about. There's cursing. You find out about whatever you want to find out about on the playground. So it's better to contextualize it with the parent or
and I also want them to view me as a source of information.
Yeah. Well, and a source that they can come to you and ask you a question, and you're not going to say, "No, I'm not." Because if you do that, if you do that, then someone else, either your spouse or another family member or just another person who's older, will become that person they go to.
Yeah.
You want to be that person that they go to ask questions.
Yep.
If you shut them down, it may just take once or twice, and then you will not be the person that they ask questions about.
Yeah.
Questions to. So, anyways, that was parenting by parents and non-parents.
Parenting advice
that should
from
be a
TWIOCH.
Thing. That should be a thing. The parenting advice by parents and non-parents.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh, I could be the parent.
You could.
Awesome.
You have qualifications.
I do. A pair of qualifications.
Back onto some gaming. So Bethesda came out with a little thing that you hate. So
nope.
Let's go ahead and read that for the crowd if you'd like, or I can. Either way, since you're going to rant about this.
Let's see if you can. Go for it.
Reading is fun. All right, Bethesda and game reviews. We read them, we watch them, we try to learn from them when they offer critique, and when we understand the value of their players. Okay. Earlier this year, we released Doom. We sent review copies to arrive the day before launch, which led to speculation about the quality of the game. Since then, Doom has emerged as a critical and commercial hit, and is now one of the highest-rated shooters of the past few years. With upcoming launches of Skyrim Special Edition and Dishonored 2, we will continue our policy of sending review media copies one day before release. While we continue to work with media, streamers, and YouTube to support their coverage, both before and after the release, we want everyone, including those in the media, to experience our games at the same time. We also understand that some of you want to read reviews before you make the decision, and if that's the case, we encourage you to wait for your favorite reviewers to share their thoughts. Skyrim Special Edition will be out, blah blah blah. Dishonored, blah 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 blah. So actually, I'll let you rant first, and then I'll add how I feel about this.
All right. So, first off, they talk about how we're going to send out copies for review one day before release.
Yes, they arrive. They arrive one day before the release.
Right.
Yes.
For Skyrim, and they specifically mentioned Skyrim and Dishonored 2. However, Grolvana on YouTube has had the special edition of Skyrim since October 21st. He says at the very beginning of this video, gonna read this real quick. He says, Bethesda got in contact with me. Yes, the Bethesda, and said since I had been such a great supporter of all their series, they decided to send me Skyrim, the special edition, early. Which means that they're not sending it to people who are going to review it. They're sending it to fans and enthusiasts and people who are going to be excited about it. That's some BS, because that tailors the message.
That's free marketing.
It's free marketing, and it's also putting it in the hands of people who, he says that he's been a great supporter of their series, which means that this is just almost free PR for them.
Doesn't he have a YouTube show?
Yeah, this is a YouTube channel, right? Yeah. So if you search for Skyrim Special Edition, this guy could probably pop up before someone who's doing a proper critical review of it, and they know that. They are deliberately making it so that what you see is more likely to be positive, regardless
early on.
Yeah, and they've already had the Skyrim Special Edition has some audio issues that they ended up having to come out and be like, we'll fix those.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
That had not been mentioned by any of these people who had already gotten the game, because they weren't reviewing it critically. They're just excited to have the new Bethesda game. That is a dishonest way to handle this. Not dishonest, but it is disingenuous.
It's creating a type of censorship if you're allowing specific people to get the game beforehand. Now he got it. IGN got it weeks before, and some other people got it weeks before.
IGN did?
IGN got it a couple weeks before. So did a couple people at the No, I believe. So there were people who are critical reviewers who got it early, and they got it early because Bethesda looked at them and said, "Okay, you're a large, you have a lot of viewership." Okay. Now this guy obviously is a big supporter, but there were, I think, 3 channels that I know of that got it early, and at least 1 or 2 of them are large reviewers.
Okay.
Now, I don't think that it's right to select it, personally.
Yeah.
I think that anyone who you deem to be media and journalists, like we are, Bethesda, then you should send out an early copy. That way we can get the news out for you.
Well, the other thing is that when if you have a day to review something, it's going to be a rush. You're going to try to get out a review quick,
yes,
because you need that traffic.
Yeah. Now let's be honest. Skyrim Special Edition. Having played Skyrim and beaten Skyrim, I've put in probably 100 hours, 150 hours. And I know for Skyrim people, that's not that much.
Yeah.
So putting in that much time with the game, if I had Skyrim Special Edition for 5 hours,
yeah,
I would be able to tell you everything you need to know about the Skyrim Special Edition versus the regular, because Skyrim Special Edition adds no content. Right. It is textures, lighting. It's a 64-bit engine, by the way, if you didn't know. Mm-hmm. So coming up from the 32 to 64-bit engine. So all of your differences are really about the smoothness, the graphics, and bring it to a new generation.
But that also creates opportunities for new bugs to creep in.
Agreed. Now, I'll play devil's advocate because I want everyone who is a prominent reviewer who has that kind of audience, and that includes people who do YouTube series for Skyrim lore or whatever. If they're out there, if they have a prominent viewership, I think Bethesda should look at all of them and say, okay, well, I'll give it to you. I'll give you an early copy. That includes people. That includes large journalists like IGN, like Rooster Teeth, The No. Those guys.
Not Kotaku.
Now Bethesda. This is what most people what they mentioned in there, and they did not mention completely in there. Is this has been their policy. This has been their policy of like, we'll get it out to you a little early, maybe. Now, for some developers, I would say that's complete crap. For Bethesda, this is where I'm playing devil's advocate because I agree with you. Bethesda has shown time and time again that they have quality games. They have amazing games. At launch, they might be a little rough.
PS3 Skyrim never got fixed. Just saying.
You're talking about the if you take every object and throw it out in the world, that one? Because I played PS3 Skyrim.
Right. It wasn't every object. It was like
you had to
like
take...
some people like, yeah, you could make it happen, but there were also people who experienced it just in regular gameplay.
You had to within a scene, if you will, a level, a room. You had to unload, I think it was like 2,000 or 3,000 or 4,000 objects. So you had to discard them, not into a crate, but just out into the world, and then it couldn't handle it.
Okay.
That sucks. I agree.
I thought it was throughout the world because it doesn't retain them when you leave.
It loads them when you go into a new one.
Okay.
So when you go into a new room, that's why there's a little bug. Every now and then you'll see this, which again, it's Bethesda. Yes, there's bugs, but the games are so good other than that. You go into a room and every now and then you'll see like a bunch of objects just go.
Yeah, that's entertaining. Take-Two is also kind of taking this approach. They released Civilization 6. You can't review that in a day.
No.
That's the reviews that are like. I was listening to a discussion between 2 people who are playing Civilization 6, and one of them was like, "Yeah, I put in about 35, 40 hours. I feel like I'm starting to get it."
And the other that far in,
right? And the other guy was like, "Yeah, I started a new campaign. I've put in about 10 hours on this campaign and this game, this one game mode, one situation, one scenario.
Yes.
And he's like, yeah, I like it.
But that's all.
But yeah, like Civilization 6 is huge and complex.
You need
and
weeks. You need weeks to give a good review of that.
And I don't pre-order from anybody but From. I pre-order From Software games because.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that. So I do pre-order Bethesda games, and the biggest reason that I do is, other than that glitch, which, like I said, I never experienced, and it takes a lot to experience. Other than that, they continue to support their games, continue to patch and support their games, and get it to a working state.
Yeah.
And
if not, you can do mods now. So.
Yeah, you can. I've not been in a scenario where. Okay, I was in one scenario where I had a glitch from Fallout 4, where the Deathclaw that I had to kill for the mission fell through the world.
Yep.
And then I couldn't kill him, so I reloaded and everything was fine.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was an irritance of about 20 or 25 minutes, and that sucked.
Yeah.
But that was fixed. I mean, I know that they care enough to continue to support it, and they're not going to throw something out there and then just be silent like No Man's Sky.
Yep.
So there's some.
Did you hear about their tweet? That's definitely not official. Yeah. The Hello Games Twitter account said, "We're sorry, No Man's Sky was a mistake."
Yeah.
And
that was.
Then they went silent and private, and you can't follow them, message them, talk to them. So they probably got hacked by somebody who was not a fan of No Man's Sky.
They just goofed on like every aspect of that, and yeah. Anyways,
so,
we can rant about that.
Speaking of games that are supported and not supported anymore, Evolve. We talked about this a while ago. They were going to go free to play. That's not coming to consoles. And Turtle Rock Studios is basically saying that Evolve, as it exists now, is what it's going to be. They don't have the finances to continue to work on and support it, which is a real bummer. And that's. I think it's interesting to see how stories like this play out.
Yeah.
Because this is an example of what can happen. What like it was highly acclaimed and people were really excited about it, and then
and it's not a bad game. It's just there's not a ton to it. It could have been a lot better, but this is such a big push for multiplayer that they left out so much of what is needed in a story, in a campaign, as well as just not very supporting it very well. I'm really sad about this because I feel like this is a franchise that could have been taken somewhere. Titanfall is getting its second chance, which is kind of falling a little bit right now. No offense to no pun intended, but I plan on playing Titanfall and giving you guys a review of that for Titanfall 2 because I liked Titanfall, and I'm hoping Titanfall 2 gets that second chance. I liked Evolve for what it was doing, but I was hoping it would get a second chance. This is the same thing that I've said on the show and elsewhere about Two Worlds. Two Worlds sucked. Two Worlds 2 was actually pretty good. In comparison.
Well, the first Assassin's Creed worked. It was all right. But then Assassin's Creed 2, like they just really stepped it up. They fixed a lot of the issues people were talking about. Titanfall 2 has a single player campaign, which was my biggest complaint about it. And so it's a bummer that Evolve it could have been more, and it's sad. That's unfortunate.
It's sad. But what's not unfortunate is we got some Final Fantasy VI.
I wish we got some Final Fantasy VI news.
We got some Final Fantasy, what's it called, 15 news.
Yep.
And which I don't think anyone was expecting.
Yeah, the final DLC for Final Fantasy 15 is going to be multiplayer co-op.
Yes.
And that's
I want a whole multiplayer co-op version of this game.
Yeah.
Because
Dibs on Prompto.
dibs on one. Oh, yeah.
Coolest hair, coolest name. I like that dude.
I didn't expect that they would do this, which makes me wonder if that section of the DLC is the only bit that is multiplayer co-op.
Yeah, you got to keep your eyes on the road.
Yeah, you do.
What is going... I have no idea what's happening in this video. But, yeah.
So, if that is indeed, which they said it is, multiplayer co-op, my prediction
All right.
is that that section is different than the rest of the game.
Okay.
That multiplayer co-op it's a very... I wouldn't say it's truncated, but it's going to be different in one way or another.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the DLC would roll it out for the rest of the game. It should roll it out for the rest of the game. Now, does that change your play through the game? If it's going to be co-op versus a single player? Yeah, I mean, with a single player campaign, you're focusing on a character, you're focusing on a specific story. With campaigns that with campaigns that have multiple players playing through them, you have to encompass every player involved in the storyline.
Yeah.
And Gears of War does this by making it about your squad.
Yeah.
You have two main squad members, which, because most people will be playing this with split screen co-op, you can have multiple other people play online or split screen. Gears of War explains it as you have these two main people, and these two other people are there,
right?
And they're part of the story.
And one of them's gonna die,
maybe. But
what's the one guy that dies every time? Like there's a character name.
Yeah. I can't remember. I played all of them, and I can't remember. I know you're talking about that. Yeah. So, but he's like kind of a basically nameless guy with the mask.
Yeah.
And the same thing goes with Gearbox, where what's wrong with me? Borderlands.
Yep.
With Borderlands, you have multiple characters, and you need to have that story appeal to everyone playing it, because every cutscene and every story bit, when you're all playing as a group, and then all of a sudden we're focusing on you.
Yeah.
And you're playing as a group, and all of a sudden that other person's going to be bored with the game.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's going to change. There's a little bit of news in here that I did not see you covering.
Okay.
So I threw it in here because this was discussed a little bit before, but Microsoft has acquired Beam.
Right.
And they had a little presentation this week about Beam.
Okay.
And some of the aspects of it, I tried to get some video of it here. And apologies for a little bit of Major Nelson in here, but this is Beam, and it's basically Twitch. There's not a lot different than this. They did mention the additional aspect of, if you see on the bottom there, being able to tell your player, like tell the person who's playing what you think they should be doing.
Huh.
So it's not quite Twitch plays, whatever game.
Right.
But the audience can say, hey, do this, hey, do this. Which,
you need to set that up for your Final Fantasy VI playthrough.
I could, but the way that they have it set up is specific buttons that are already there, which I'm hoping that the streamer gets to set up and say, no, these are the buttons that I want to allow.
Right.
Because it'll give you different suggestions, and one of the things in the presentation that they showed was the guy driving a dirt-like game where he's driving down a road, and there's a suggestion to take it off-road, and they click the button, and you hear this voice come in to the stream and say, "Time to take that vehicle off-road."
All right.
And I just thought, if that pops up every time someone presses the button.
Yeah.
Every time, and there's a notice chat button.
Whew.
And if this pops up anytime someone clicks that button, first of all, Angry Joe was talking about this, saying everyone's going to click notice chat constantly, because they want to be recognized on the stream.
Yeah.
Talking about it, which if you watch us on Twitch, you will be recognized. But if it was like a little like thing to remind the person, or maybe it's a little visual audio cue just for you, but not the players.
Yeah.
Then
I feel like a lot of this is like, it seems problematic. The actual implementation, it has to be better than that.
Well,
so
the worst part of, the best part, which I think is Microsoft shooting themselves in the foot, was they were showing how you can be streaming and you can have a chat with someone and get in the comments. And I was like, oh well, yeah, you can do that already. And the woman who's presenting said something about like, oh yeah, here's my friend from high school. We don't get to talk a lot, but we still get to connect through video games. And she's playing, and she's like, so what do you think about this? And then he pops up with his answer, and she and continues to talk. And she mentions you're having a real-time conversation, and there was no delay. I call bull. Bull, because the delay involved, like right here, as we're talking, if someone right now types the letter P involved, which you could do if you're watching us right now. We
can do that.
We're gonna do this. Ready? We're gonna hit P. So enter. 1, 2, 3. Took 3 seconds. Okay, so Lord Calloway put it on here too. So that's 3 to 4 seconds of a delay. Before it gets on there. That's not too bad.
Yeah.
But 3 to 4 seconds if you're playing a game where you need an answer. If you're playing like the Telltale games, and you say, "Hey guys, what do you think I should do here?" You're gonna wait for everyone to type up their answer, then hit enter. 10-15 seconds, I'm guessing, is what it usually is for me when I have audience participation like that. That's 10 or 15 seconds, and the game's not going to allow for it. That was one letter. That was one letter. So everyone got on. Everyone hit P, and thank you guys for doing that. That delay is going to be there. The 4 or 5 seconds. If it was not there, if there was a way to fix it, Twitch would have fixed it. Twitch
I don't know. Twitch is. I don't. They're broken a lot.
If Beam allows you,
if somebody can, I think Microsoft could.
If Microsoft and by the way, if you've the quickness of launching the application, quickness of launching that application was remarkable, though.
Yeah.
So they showed in the presentation, saying, streamers, it can be difficult to get the right software to get it integrated for a PC. So they showed, you hit this, you hit stream, then you're going.
Yeah.
It's basically how PS4 is right now, which is fantastic. PS4 and Xbox, you stream almost immediately. And they're basically saying, hey, we're rolling that out. You don't need additional software. Yeah. It's kind of how they have the game recorder on Windows 10 right now. So I'm curious to see how this will be for the streaming market, because the streaming market right now, YouTube is trying.
Yeah.
Twitch is still king.
Yeah.
But when it comes to being live, Facebook's doing it. Twitter is doing it.
Yep.
Instagram is going to start doing it. So everyone's wanting a piece of live streaming.
Yeah.
And the question is, can Microsoft take down Twitch?
I don't think so, because Twitch is able to go out to all the platforms and go to other places.
Yeah, and Microsoft has everything but the PlayStation market, because they mention on there, which is
what if Nintendo streams?
Ooh.
They could not have that market as well. But I mean, like you're right. Like the Windows PCs, and if you're doing gaming on a computer, it's probably a PC, because it's Linux and Mac. Not to disparage their gaming abilities, but there's just a lot less that's available, and things have to be specially catered to that particular design.
Yeah.
So
I think it's interesting that they're trying to get in on this, and it's even more interesting that obviously I don't think that they would have been able to do it, but to try to buy out Twitch. I don't think they would have been able to do it, because I think Twitch would have gone, we're making too much money.
Yeah.
Because Twitch is making so much money on ads that they're not giving to the people who are on there.
Yeah.
They're making money in so many ways
And they also have like a barrier before you can start making money, because like we're not eligible at this point to make money with Twitch.
Yeah. We need more subscribers. We need more subscribers and more active viewers. Otherwise, we can't.
Yeah.
We do have a donate button now. If you want to donate, you could donate. I threw that on there.
Nice.
Someone may do that. Who knows?
It could happen. But yeah, and then speaking of Xbox, I actually didn't get to cover that particular thing going on. I had to read a book in 2 days.
And
So it was fun and interesting, and I only screamed it at once. But Abzu, which came out to PlayStation a little while back, is coming to Xbox and is also getting a physical release for both platforms in January. Which this is continuing the hey, here's a cool indie game on this one.
Yeah.
3, 2, and everybody can play it now, and we are huge fans of that.
Yeah.
We like that because Abzu is a unique experience that as Journey was.
Yeah.
That the more people get to experience that, the better. It's fun to just grab onto a passing marine animal and whee and just kind of float through, and you can. I've used it as a screensaver. Like I'll put on Spotify music, turn off the Abzu music, or leave the Abzu music playing because it's pretty good.
Yeah.
And like it, if you leave it there for a little bit, then the camera will start to follow different fish that are around you.
That's really cool.
And and so you just sit there and watch the fish do their thing.
I need to put it on and let Ridley watch it because I think she'll just sit for hours.
Could be.
Yeah. Back to we were talking about being a non-parent and giving parenting advice.
Right.
I'm a parent of 2 fur babies.
Yes.
And I have these little moments that I'm like, oh, this is kind of what it's like to be a parent, because you have little moments where I'm like, nobody cares about this but me, but this is the adorable little thing, or she's learning this now, it's so adorable.
Yeah.
Except the dogs never get past that toddler stage.
Yeah, there's an upper echelon on how much you're gonna learn.
Well,
here.
Whitney and I we're talking about how June recognizes certain streets. If we drive down certain streets, then she knows we're going to Grammy's house.
Right.
She did so recently, going the wrong way. She still recognized. Usually it's, oh, you turn here, and she goes, I know what we're doing. But it's not like, right after we get in the car, she doesn't know where we're going.
Yeah.
But if we say Grammys, she knows what's happening. It's going, it's on. But if we're driving in the car and we happen to go by Spring Creek, it's in between Spring Creek, 121 and the toll road. That stretch of road, they live around there.
Okay.
So if I'm around Spring Creek and the toll road, or Spring Creek and 121,
Nice.
June loses it, and Whitney and I are like, oh, it's so great she remembers. But if she had a toddler, it'd be like, we'd be saying the same thing.
Right.
But once they hit 7 or 8, you're like, yes, yeah, we know there's the mall. It's like when your daughter said, oh, there's On the Border. You're like, yeah, it is. But if she was 10 and said that, you'd be like, yeah, you know where we are.
You can still be excited about On the Border. That is permissible. You can continue to be excited about it no matter how old you are. I am excited about my birthday lunch at Los Lupes.
Yeah.
Which I'm going, after we finish this, I'm going to go eat some good Mexican.
How does Courtney like On the Border, though?
Yeah.
Okay. Because, I guess it depends on what you get. There's a lot of
she tends
tortilla soup.
Yeah.
Okay. So
and the tortilla soup is excellent, and that's also something that is not a more traditional.
It isn't.
I do get kind of upset along with her. She gets upset too when whoever was assigned to bring salsa brings pace, or that has actually happened.
What? You mean they ran out and they're like...
No, they were... we do kind of a potluck thing where everybody contributes to the dinner.
I thought you were talking about going On the Border.
Oh,
no.
This is at a family gathering.
Yes.
And somebody brings pace.
Yeah, and it's her family, right?
Right.
Okay.
And so we've got... And I don't want those people to be assigned. Yeah.
Which
Because my salsa is important.
Yes.
And pace is.
I feel the same way if we just had a Halloween party and
a tasty Halloween party.
And I'm glad you like the entire time I'm making it. I'm like, okay, I need to make taco meat. I'm not buying a on the border or Taco Bell pack. I know how to do this. It's cayenne, it's cumin, it's salt, it's garlic. I can do that.
Make it proper.
Yeah. Same thing with the tortillas. I didn't go buy Mission tortillas.
Ooh, Courtney gets mad at me without it. I don't actually care about tortillas. The tortillas don't make any difference to me.
I spent a little bit more money.
Yeah.
But I got freshly made tortillas as they're coming off the rack.
I do like it if I can get them if they're still warm from being cooked. Like that is the optimal tortilla situation. But if they've already cooled down,
and they had it,
a tortilla is tortilla.
And they had at this point, which I will say that they're healthier for you, the natural ones, as opposed to getting the
preservatives. You don't know how long that's been in a package.
The Mission, they have the ultra soft ones, which I'll end up getting because they I'll go buy those at the store because they last.
Yeah,
salsa's gonna last. You don't get paste, but you get a decent salsa. Guacamole, same thing. It's like I need this now. I'm not eating it a day afterwards. So I'm gonna get some good guacamole, right?
See, salsa makes the meal, in my opinion.
Yeah, which I put too much lemon
Tortilla
juice
Maker
in
2016, now in beta.
I'm
literally salivating now.
Yeah,
I'm hungry.
It's good, Gordon. See, I need.
Let's get back. Let's get back to the news so that I can leave and eat. All right. So the two last things that we have on here are. Xbox had talked about how they were going to do like special tournaments and stuff.
Yeah.
And those are going to be like they set it up where they're like, hey, you'll be able to do like official tournaments and stuff. And what they announced during the same event where they were talking about the Beam is now they're going to allow gamers to create tournaments.
Yes.
And that's exciting to me. That sounds like fun.
I love that because the first thing that I thought was every time I play like WWE games, I like the tournament bracket aspect.
The brackets are fun.
The brackets are great, and any type of game that lets you do that because it's not part of it anyways. For if you're a wrestling fan, I'm talking about like talking about King of the Ring, not Survivor Series. But if you're playing a game that's not built for that, having your own tournament of Rocket League, that'd be really cool. And if you're a large Twitch streamer and you can pull people and say, hey, we're going to have this tournament, or sorry, Beam streamer at this point. I mean, because that's what it would be. But if you can bring in large gamers, and, if you're on a PC, you could broadcast to both. We can broadcast to both here if you have a decent bandwidth. But to be able to do that and say, hey, I'm going to have my own King of Fighters. I'm going to have my own
Tekken 7.
That's
the one
tournament.
I want to do.
Because if you want to do a tournament, you have to either go to someone's house and you bracket it out on a whiteboard, or you go to an actual event, which we don't have a lot of here.
Yeah.
We have there are Smash Brothers events that travel around, but we don't have a lot here. The Philippines and a lot of other places have these. Japan has these. You can go and be in a tournament, but to be able to be online and do this, I think is phenomenal. Also, to talk about the Titanfall maps.
There's not going to be a season pass. They're going to add modes, add maps, and things like that. And once you have bought Titanfall. You get the Titanfall content, which is really cool.
I love this because I think that when you cut out certain people when it comes to DLC. Now I'm completely fine with buying with DLC when it comes to games to bring in additional content. But Rocket League excelled at this in saying you bought the game, thank you. We're going to give you every game mode for free constantly.
And you can buy more cars and that was what I did.
That's you. If you want microtransactions, here you go. If you want to play the Batmobile, I have the Batmobile, and I love it.
Batmobile is awesome.
So if you want to buy it, you can buy it. You can support them, or if you just want a specific bit, but you don't have DLC packs where you have a bunch of skins you don't care about, and you're only buying it for one skin, or a specific game mode's being unlocked. When it comes to online, which I think Battlefront completely dropped the ball in this.
Yeah.
Battlefront said, here's the game, and we have DLC packs that give you additional things. Well, if you gave those out and you unlocked, say, specific characters.
Yeah.
You want to play Greedo? Okay, here's a $5. You know, you can play Greedo and Dengar or whoever. Yeah. It would have been much better because all these new modes that are unlocked, everyone would come back and say, hey, I want to play Jabba's Palace.
Yeah, and that's the thing is I think this will give Titanfall 2 a lot longer shelf life than Titanfall 1 had, which was one of the issues because it sold pretty well right out the gate, and then it just dropped off and nobody was playing it anymore.
And I think that's what one thing that excels when it comes to Rocket League. People are still buying Rocket League.
Yeah.
People are buying it, people are playing it, people are buying the DLC, and that game will continue because of that. Yep. Now, this brings up an interesting question of like how they're going to propel forward from that.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there are ways to ethically handle microtransactions and additional costs. Like, I got Overwatch. That game is insanely complicated, and it blows my mind how many different heroes, how many different maps and traversal modes, and like all these different things it can do. The amount of R&D required to put out new maps and new heroes, I'm willing to pay for those maps and those heroes because actually the Extra Credits YouTube channel is doing a series about the asymmetry of Overwatch. Yeah, it's really good stuff.
Which is very interesting.
Yeah. And they're talking about it from a game design standpoint. They're talking about how, honestly, what an amazing feat it is to be able to have this many heroes, this many maps, and because like there's 7 different ways that you can get from this point to this point, and it's really impressive.
The balance involved is pretty amazing.
They are amazing. I like Overwatch.
Yeah. So what do you guys think about multiplayer like that? Do you think it's a smart move to throw out additional packs like Titanfall's doing, like Rocket League's doing, or are you completely fine with buying the additional DLC? I'm fine with buying it. I just think when it comes to multiplayer, that it makes it better. And what do you think will happen to Rocket League and/or Minecraft? How will they go to a new version of Rocket League 2 or Minecraft 2? Let us know in the comments what you think will be the future of those franchises.
Indeed.
Yeah. See you guys later.